SCHD is a low-cost, passively managed ETF that selects its member stocks from the Dow Jones U.S. Dividend 100 Index. SCHD only tracks this index rather than strictly following it. SCHD's order of operations for determining holdings is actually very straightforward and surprisingly quite simple. I've broken it down into 8 steps, with the first 4 steps covering individual stock selection and the last 4 steps covering the fund distribution mechanics. The stock selection criteria are: number 1, a stock needs to have at least 10 years of consecutive dividend payments, and number 2, it also needs to have a minimum market cap of $500 million. Number 3, stocks that make it this far are sorted from highest to lowest dividend yield. And number 4, sorting down continues against cash flow to debt ratio, return on equity, dividend yield, and 5-year dividend growth rate. Now that the bucket of stocks is defined, the fund portfolio itself is tuned. The fund composition criteria are: number 5, 4% is the max weight of any individual stock in the index. And number 6, 25% is the max weight of any individual sector in the index. Number 7, rebalance occurs quarterly and is a reevaluation that uses steps 5 through 6 to ensure that the 4% individual stock and 25% individual sector weight caps are adhered to. And number 8, reconstitution occurs annually and is a reevaluation that uses steps 1 through 4 to determine which stocks to add and which to remove from the fund. The intro and overview you just watched were from my last video. Based on viewer feedback, I've created this video to clarify and expand on the section that had that sweet overview diagram in it. One particular point of contention is step 3 that references the dividend yield, and step 4, where one of the criterion is, you guessed it, the dividend yield. At composition time, the dividend yield in step 3 uses whatever the current dividend yield is. The dividend yield used in step 4 during the final sorting uses the indicated dividend yield, which is essentially the 12-month projected dividend yield. The indicated dividend yield uses the formula: indicated yield equals most recent dividend times dividend payments per year, and all of that is then divided by the current stock price. In this video, I'm going to walk through the 8 steps and identify why I think each is important. People get it twisted when it comes to SCHD. To be clear, consistent compounding dividend growth is the primary function of SCHD. Price appreciation is secondary. It's not that price appreciation is not important, it's just not as important as consistent dividend growth and portfolio quality in this particular fund. The first 4 steps are only concerned with determining which stocks will be included in the fund, but not how the final allocation structure will be configured. Step 1, 10 years of dividends. This is important because it results in companies with strong balance sheets and strong cash flow. These companies have proven to be resilient, stable, and committed to paying dividends. According to the behavioral assessment company Asymmetry Observations, the average market cycle from bull market peak to bear market valley and back to bull market peak is 4.6 years. So the 10-year requirement means screened companies have performed well over a minimum of 2 market cycles, demonstrating their intrinsic strength. Step 2, $500 million market cap. This is important because it excludes smaller companies that have higher risk and reduced liquidity due to their inherent lack of market size. It doesn't mean that these are bad companies in any way. It simply means that companies that fail to satisfy this requirement lack the mass to make them competitive at scale with larger companies. However, it still results in a very large pool of candidates. When I sorted the list of largest companies by market cap, I discovered there were 2,284 stocks that satisfied this requirement. Step 3, dividend yield. This is important because it's one of the 2 main reasons anyone even buys SCHD, with the other being capital appreciation. The dividend yield represents a stock's ability to deliver an expected income stream as a percentage of its stock price. This number and its CAGR leads to a steadily rising yield on cost, which supercharges the power of the fund over time. According to a January 2026 report from Morningstar on the top high-quality, high-dividend ETFs, SCHD is one of only 5 Gold Star ranked ETFs and also has the highest trailing 12-month dividend yield of all of the top listed dividend ETFs. Step 4, final sorting. As far as I know, there's no hierarchy within this sorting group. My guess is that each thing is scored in isolation and a final score is generated from the aggregate. If any of you know otherwise, put it in the comments section. Cash flow to total debt. Higher cash flow and lower total debt means a company is more stable, more resilient, can continue paying a dividend, and is more predictable. In this example from Investopedia for ABC Widgets Incorporated, if we divide its cash flow from operations of $312,500 by its total debt of $1,250,000, we then get a ratio of 0.25 or 25%. Now, if we then take 1 and divide it by that ratio of 0.25, we get a result of 4. This result is the number of years it would take for ABC Widgets to repay all of its company debt. This means that a higher ratio is better. So if ABC Widgets cash flow was doubled to $625,000, using the same formula would result in a ratio of 0.50. And when we divide 1 by that 5.0, it returns a debt repayment projection of 2 years. Return on equity. This means a company is well managed in its ability to generate profits from the shareholders' equity, which leads to higher dividends. In the Investopedia example, a company earned $20 in profit after receiving $100 in investment income. This is a 20% ROE and is considered a good result for most industries. Indicated dividend yield. So this is the peer to what we talked about before in step 3. This is a prediction of where the dividend yield may be going based on past performance and current conditions. It speaks to the strength of a company and its potential to maintain profitability in the future. Remember, this is the projected dividend yield for the next 12 months and is different from the realized dividend discussed in step 3. 5-year dividend growth rate. This metric is critical as it's indicative of companies with a proven history of increasing dividend payouts, which signals managerial strength and notable financial health. In the Investopedia example, aside from using the 5-year formula, you can also see that we can get the growth rate for any individual year by dividing the current year's dividend by the previous year's dividend and simply averaging the results. One of the things that's always bugged me about these kinds of metrics are the names. Like, this thing is called the 5-year dividend growth rate. And yes, there are 5 years represented. However, there are only 4, count them, 4 growth rate years represented. My assertion here is that the calculation should actually have 6 years referenced to derive the 5-year growth rate, at least in order to align with the semantics of the thing. In order for me to get the 5-year growth rate years, I need 6 years in the calculating pool. I need to use an X-1 type of scheme because the first year is the base year. Yeah, I know. I just did it one more again, got off topic, went down a rabbit hole, can't stay on track. But this kind of stuff bugs me. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. These first 4 steps conclude the stock selection portion of the process. All stocks that didn't pass screening were placed in the discarded candidates bucket, which can now be emptied. After that comes the last 4 steps, which comprise the tasking to finalize the fund composition. Step 5, 4% max individual stock. The 4% maximum is important because it's a risk control strategy to prevent price drift. It reduces overexposure risk from any single stock, ensures portfolio diversification, and promotes beneficial rebalancing. Intelligent rebalancing sells portions of winning stocks to lock in gains, avoiding the subsequent price contraction risk that often follows a price spike. Step 6, 25% max individual sector. The sector maximum is a redundancy for the individual stock maximum. It acts as a fail-safe to ensure a balanced, stable portfolio that's diversified and resistant to overconcentration risks. Step 7. Quarterly rebalance. The quarterly rebalance is tactical. It is the hard line reckoning that ensures the structure maintains its integrity according to its engineering plan. It ensures that the fund is stable, value-driven, and predictable within a given behavioral range. But these benefits come at a cost. This fund will restrict price breakouts and restrict rapid growth. But to reiterate, that is what it was designed to do. Yeah, I got no reason why I read my script that way. I'm just goofing in my chill room making videos, man. I think my sparse audience is wholly comprised of unsuspecting YouTube algorithm victims that wandered down wrong leak alley, wrong leak highway. Man, don't click on that thumbnail, man. Ain't nothing going on here. These just jokes. Step 8, Annual Reconstitution. The Annual Reconstitution is strategic. It's like the operating system reboot of the portfolio that removes old, outdated, or damaged program members in favor of viable replacements. Or better yet, it's the fiscal autophagy, all right, of the portfolio cellular body. Just as biological autophagy will scavenge damaged and dysfunctional cellular components, dismantle them, and then recycle the gathered material to repair cells that invigorate the host body, SCHD will do the same with its member stocks. It'll scavenge companies with declining dividends or fundamentals and then repurpose the capital for stronger, more viable assets. This fiscal biosynthesis ensures the fund remains adaptable to current market conditions and maintains relevancy. All of these checks and balances are built to do one thing: position SCHD as a foundational core holding in an intelligently constructed portfolio. Collectively, they ensure that SCHD delivers consistent, sustainable dividends, consistent, sustainable dividend growth, and modest capital appreciation with blunted volatility when compared to the rest of the market. And finally, to repeat and to be crystal clear, because of some of the conversations I've recently had, and also because of some of the dialogue I've seen in comment sections of videos and online forums about SCHD underperforming the S&P 500. Consistent, compounding, dividend growth is the primary function of SCHD, and its price appreciation is secondary. Consistent, compounding, dividend growth is the primary function of SCHD, and its price appreciation is secondary. Good luck on constructing your bulletproof investing portfolio, and thanks for watching.